So I noticed as I was doing my last few recordings that as I become more animated on a topic, and in particular because I'm not reading from a script, I suspect that I actually speak quite quickly. And if you're one of those people who listens to things at 1.25 or 1.5 speed, then I probably sounded a little bit ridiculous. Today then we're going to talk about bringing energy to your audio and your video content and how much is too much when it comes to talking in particularly animated styles. My name is Chris Hargraves. Your name is whatever your name is, and I'm from Known, Liked and Trusted, and I help law firms and lawyers build up their marketing efforts and in particular focus on their digital marketing strategies. Now, video is all the rage, don't you know, and has been now for more than a little while. So we're getting to that point where more and more people are doing videos, which means simply by virtue of the numbers that there are more quite good videos and there are more quite bad videos. That's just how the content creation business works. More content, by definition, means you will have a lot of average content, some good content and some bad content, and some really good content and some really bad content. I, of course, primarily, not exclusively, but primarily produce the kind of video that is me sitting in a chair talking at a lens, not the kind of video of me going for a run or me doing fancy things outside or lots of jump cuts or that sort of thing. And that works for my style and my personal circumstances, but it's not the only type of video out there. But my question is then, what's going to be your style as you get into videos? And the truth is, most of us don't know. The reason is, having not done video before, the first few videos we do are awkward and wooden, and I've spoken about this before. So on this particular occasion, I'm not going to repeat myself on that topic. But as you do more videos and you grow more comfortable, you will start being able to consciously adopt a particular tone or a particular style. Now, the question is, what kind of style do you want to adopt? The most obvious authentic style is, of course, largely to speak in the way you would if you were speaking to other people. By and large, that's what I attempt to do. But there's a band, isn't there? Because you speak to people in not just the same way all the time. You have different styles that you approach, and your videos are going to be similar. So perhaps on some topics or for some particular clients, you might slow down your speech. You might pause longer between sentences. And depending on what you're saying, you might decide to very carefully articulate some words. But sometimes what you might do is you might actually want to speed up your content. You might want to up the energy. You might want to take your voice up and down a lot more. And that might mean you can get a lot more information out very quickly and perhaps keep your audience slightly more engaged if you don't want them to fall asleep. What a lot of people seem to do is they get told that even though they're not people who speak with their hands, that they should be waving their hands around. And I actually find that quite annoying, I gotta say, because it's so obvious. If you are not a person who speaks with your hands and your videographer has said, you're coming out a little bit boring here. Could you just try like waving your arms around? And then you see people and they're talking about section 259 1 sub D of the Taxation Act or something like that. And they're waving their hands around as if they've got a plague of flies. But at the same time, their tone of voice is still quite prepared because they're reading from a script. And it looks really strange. And if you're listening to the podcast version of this, I was just waving my hands around while doing that last bit because it was funny and stuff like that. So my question for you is, what is the style you are going to adopt and how are you going to adopt it? And really the answer there is going to be dependent on the topic you're dealing with and the seriousness with which you need to deal with it. It's going to depend probably to a large degree on what kind of preparation you do. So if you're reading from a teleprompter, there's a good chance your delivery is going to be quite different until you get more natural and more meaningfully engaged with the teleprompter and you're able to start inflecting your voice and bringing a bit more energy to that situation. that does take practice. I haven't had that practice, and that's why I choose just to do these sorts of things without a script. It lets me be a little bit more natural, like I was just talking to a human being who happens to, at this point, be a Canon camera on a tripod. Very strange looking human being, but kind of as close as I'm going to get in this particular scenario. So actually consciously decide is really the main lesson here. It's not about energy, it's not about too little or too much. It's actually about consciously deciding. Go back and watch your own videos, okay? Are they the kind of videos that have you come across as the kind of person you think you are? And that will be a disturbing question to ask, because you're going to feel awkward. Nobody likes watching themselves that much on video or hearing their own voice as it sounds to others. And you need to have a bit of self-awareness about how you're coming across. If you just do a video and then never watch it again, that's not a good plan, okay? We need to refine, we need to improve, we need to actually think about these questions. There will be limits. We are not actors, we are not performers, but if you can think about it and you can measure it and you can actually gauge areas for improvement, then you can start to work at them. How can you bring a bit more energy? How can you make your voice a little bit faster or a little bit slower as the situation warrants? And is that the right decision for the people that you are trying to connect with? Those are the kinds of questions that are good to ask, in particular if you're producing video content, because those are the kinds of things that will help your video marketing be a success or a failure. And I have hit my time limit some time ago for these particular little shorts. And so I will end it there, encouraging you to ask the right questions on your video content. And I'll see you next time.